McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, we have a story about a breakup, but we also have a story regarding someone that's in a relationship, and they're asking, is it too good to be true? Have you been in one of those relationships before where you're thinking, is this too good to be true, Mac? And honestly, I've been in one. Eduardo Martinez. Buenos dias. Buenos tardes. Buenos noches, I believe. So, yes, we are live. Is my relationship too good to be true? I think that's actually a good question. A lot of times you get the people that go, this is a horrible relationship. This is bad. I don't trust them. But I have had people come to me and say, I should have known it was too good to be true. I should have known it was too good to be true. And you don't know till you connect the dots later on. Hindsight's 20/20, makes a genius out of everyone. And the question to unpack here, though, is if you think it's too good to be true, you're always comparing the new relationship to your past experiences involving relationships. And so when someone comes off as too good to be true, where are you coming from? What are you comparing this to? Maybe you just haven't met an animal like this before. You're going, what? It's like, think about it like this. People that are afraid of dogs. There's a lot of people out there. They're just horrified, scared of dogs. Right? And you go, what happened? Why are you scared of dogs? Everyone likes dogs. I have a dog. I have this. They got bit by a dog when they were younger. Surprise, surprise. Or one of their parents was bit, and so they instilled in them to be scared of dogs, right? And so they can meet the sweetest, kindest dog in the world. And if they're exposed to that dog enough, they might just soften up to that one dog. But in their mind, they're going to be thinking, could this dog bite me? Because the human brain records everything in the subconscious. And then it tells you, hey, it's like you got a little guy in your brain or a little woman in your brain. A new experience comes up and the brain goes, hold on a moment. And it's searching for some background on something similar that happened to you in a similar moment so you can make a better decision, so you can survive, so you can not get bit by the dog. And so when you go, I think this relationship's too good to be true, probably your past relationships weren't on par with this, and you're just wondering, when's the other foot going to drop? Now, you could just be a bad judge of character. Now, when someone, let's put this in another scenario. Let's twist this up a little bit. If you're being sold something, a house, a car, I don't know. What else can you be sold? Let's just say that you're being sold a car, because a lot of people buy cars. If it's too good to be true, do you question it? Sometimes as a salesperson, there's going to be some negatives that come up. And if that person just keeps saying, oh, it's fantastic, it's wonderful, it's great. But if they go, yeah, that is one of the setbacks of this car, but on the flip side, we have this, this, and this. As human beings, you're leery of things that are too good to be true, but there are people out there that just believe that it is that good. Now, when you get over to relationships, and the reason I bring that up is there's people that are just negative and they just filter for negativity, and therefore a lot of things seem too good to be true. And that was instilled in them as an ideal, as a way of looking at life, as a philosophy per se. A lot of people don't think of themselves as philosophers, but you're all carrying philosophies about money, about relationships, about coaching, about school, and people lay them out. Well, this is what I think about school, right? and the philosophies come from your experience. In a lot of cases, people's experience that they get this philosophy from is extremely limited and extremely biased and one-sided. It's like Michael Malice, who's a pretty big character now on YouTube. I don't know his background exactly. I think he was a comedian. He wrote a book on North Korea. He's been interviewed by Jordan Peterson, which is a big deal, Joe Rogan, which is a big deal, and I forget who the other person is in my head. I think Lex Friedman, or is that his name? Anyhow, this guy, I mean, once you get interviewed by those people, you're up there, right? And so he's into anarchy. It's a bit extreme to me. And anarchy will work. He has all the reasons why anarchy's good, while it will work. And on the back of my head, I'm like, it's never worked. This is a bit extreme. This is a good pipe dream, but it's just, it's the equivalent of you're coming up with this idea that if you could make it work, it's a great idea, but how are you going to execute it? I just see brick walls everywhere. But he had this thing about school and how he made this comment, and he just made it kind of in passing. He was talking to Jordan Peterson. He goes, these people are getting taught by mediocre people. This is what he was saying about teachers. And he's talking to Jordan Peterson, and I'm thinking to myself, so all teachers are mediocre individuals. And he just went through it. And I thought to myself, what a shallow and ignorant statement. Talking to someone that's a professor that's taught at Harvard and a university in Toronto. And Jordan Peterson didn't react to it. And the funny thing is body language. He had like a twitch in his eye, right? And I'm going somewhere with this in relationship to is my relationship too good to be true? He had a twitch in his eye, and he just questioned him. Okay. He said, okay. And he's realizing that this guy thinks he's creating this great opinion-based thing, but when you throw in something like the reasons why school is not good is because kids are being taught by mediocre leaders and teachers. Now, that's a pretty broad statement. You're basically saying that all teachers are mediocre, right? And Jordan Peterson was like, hey, look, I don't know what your thoughts are on teachers and whatnot, but I taught at Harvard. There's some very good professors. And he didn't react to it, right? But this guy's dug in on the fact that he's just trying to make a point about anarchy and schools, and he's just throwing shit against the wall. And also it's salacious, it gets attention, right? Because he knows, let's be deep down. Are you going to make anarchy happen? Good luck. And if that happens, careful what you wish for, genius. Right? But to him, right, that's the way he looks at things. When you look at your relationship, is this relationship too good to be true? It's a really good time to contact me, because you could be sabotaging a really good relationship, or you could be right. There's something not right here. If someone's over the top, too good to be true, and you're finding things about them to be questionable, or another client of mine said if you get idealized, which means that they put you on a pedestal and they see no wrong in you, and they big you up continuously, that could be suspicious. Now, if someone's just doing a lot of good things right that you haven't seen done before, it could just be a shock to your system that's saying, could this be? Did God send me an angel from the heavens above, or is this really a good woman, a good girlfriend? Because I haven't seen one of these before. Your brain's going, wait a minute, this is not how relationships usually work for me. You should be unpacking that, because there's a time, there's people that sabotage good relationships because they've never been in one, and it's foreign to them. It's kind of like people that have never tried a certain kind of food. They've never tried Indian food, right? It's like, oh, Indian food's disgusting. I would never eat it. The restaurants smell really bad. That was kind of my thing when I lived in California. And the first place I got taken for Indian food was horrible. It was like buffet style Indian food. My friend said there was flies around. I never ate Indian food for another 4 or 5 years. I had Indian food in Thailand. It was fabulous. It was great, right? But in my mind, I would already said it. You do the same thing in relationships. You end up in a couple bad relationships to mediocre relationships to a relationship where you were duped, where you're like, I thought I knew this person, they change. Then you get into one that's really good and you're like, wait a minute, what am I missing here? I don't want to get duped again, right? So we're going to unpack that in a moment. What a name. What a name. Nice topic as always. Butt Effer 3000. What a name. Is that something you live by? Jesse Chapman. How you doing, bud? Okay, the 2 Cyprus guys are on deck. I'm going to have to link you guys up. Dark Knight and Jesse. What's the odds, right? I got 5 people on deck and 2 of them are in Cyprus. Come on, man. You guys were meant to be. You were meant to be. So please put in the comments, Eduardo Martinez, Dark Knight, Jesse Chapman. I don't even like to say the word. We'll just call you BF3000. Have you been in a relationship where you started out and you go, this is just too good to be true? Or did you think, nah, I deserve this. Nah, I'm going to ride this one out. You got it. Did you question it? All right, let me get into the stories. So I'm going to start with the story of is it too good to be true? And then we'll circle back to the other story later, which is not on the topics per se. So let's see what we got here. We got 3 on deck. Like I said, please put in the comments if you had a situation where you've been in a relationship that was too good to be true. And later on you went, oh no. So writes, hello, coach. I've got a situation where it's not a breakup, but a potential breakup. I've actually written you years back and got a great response. So here I am again. Well, welcome back. If you have a story you want to share, send it into writemac.com. It's $25 and I'll unpack it in a YouTube video like this. If you want to do a live coaching session for an hour or 2 hours, $125 an hour. I've been with my girlfriend for 10 months. It's been good, but something is missing. Isn't that funny when you're in a relationship and you're like, it's good, but something's missing? Are you someone that's just picky or can never be satisfied? Is that part of your nature, or is this really something? I mean, she worships me. She's attentive, kind-hearted, sweet, and tells me she loves me a lot. You had me at attentive. Her feelings are much higher than mine. Well, that's something that maybe throws you off a little bit if that's never happened to you before. You might feel guilty that she's way more into you than you are into her, and you're taking advantage. I'm attracted to her. I love her affection and her care for me, but we lack good conversation. Some guys are chuckling right now going, who cares about conversation? You can't get into deep conversations with her, or going out to eat feels like it's just a game of sweet eyes. What I mean is she just stares at me with a glow of love and then just wants to please me. Again, like I said, there's probably some guys out there chuckling going, what's wrong? There's never any conversation that's remotely serious or opinionated. One thing that's nice is she just supports me in everything I do. Sounds good to me. I mean, she's not working right now, so she'll go shopping for me. She'll clean my house every day. The laundry is done weekly. That part is great. But she's recently told me repeated time that she feels attached to me. She told me when we first started dating that she lost her dad at 13, whom she loved dearly, and then lost her dad at 18, lost her stepdad at 18, whom she also loved dearly. And she compares her love for me to her love for her dad. So I know people instantly are going, daddy issues. Whenever someone says daddy issues, I'm like, men have daddy issues too. But he writes, I'm 6 years older than her. She's 30 and I'm 36. It's not like I'm rocking the cradle. I don't see that. No. I mean, if that's the age difference, it sounds like this is a woman that's really into you. And the fact that she doesn't have a job right now, that's probably something that's overlooked in this. But if she doesn't have a job right now, you're her job and her boyfriend. And people like to have a purpose. And so right now she's developed the purpose of taking care of you. Doing laundry, cleaning around the house. That makes her feel good that she has someone to take care of, and it's something she's appreciated about. I would bet that she doesn't have a huge friend circle. She's probably private and pretty quiet. And so, you know, once she gets attached, she gets attached. The fact that she's telling you that's pretty interesting. That means she's aware of it. At first, I thought she was immature, but as I get to know her, she's just highly spiritual. She meditates a lot, is always positive, is quick to laugh at silly jokes, but has no ambition, nor does she like to talk about serious topics. All right, so this has come up more than once about the serious topics and not good conversation. My question would be this. I mean, are you a talker? So is that, why would that be such a, why would that be such a big deal? And is she capable of growing into better conversations? This is a positive, I believe. I guess I'm just not used to it. Well, don't try to make something that you're not happy with into a positive. So, there is something to be said for being loving, considerate, and kind. There's another thing to be said when you hang out, that there's no kind of intellectual conversation. And I've had that before with women that excites you. And like I said, that counts if you value intellectual conversation. Does that make sense? There's men out there that are probably like, nah, I don't want a woman like that. I don't really like to conversate too deeply with her. Someone says that's not right. It's up to the individual, right? So you're saying, I like all these things about her, it's just this part. Well, if that's really important for you to have good conversation, it's different for different people. I know you usually ask, what's the intimacy on a scale of 1 to 10? So you have watched my show before. 1 to 10, it's a 7. Okay, whenever someone comes up with a 7, it's usually, I don't want to be mean and give them a 6. Because a 6 is, if you think about A, B, C, D, when you get A's in school, it's a 9. When you get a B, it's an 8. 7s are a C. And 6 is a D. I think that a lot of times people give a 7 when they want to be nice. It's like a nice 6. So the fact that it's a 7 is not a positive. That's like a grade. That's like a C grade. What's connection? 7 or 6. See how you wrote 6 secondly? In reality, it's probably more like a 6. What's trust? 10. So that's what keeps you in the game. So you got the hardest one right there. Trust is probably the hardest for most individuals in a relationship. And if you got that off the bat and it's a 10, you can work with intimacy and you can work with connection. Trust is much more harder to massage. So wherever you're at with this relationship, being that it's been 10 months, it's not time to abort. It's not time to abort. If you got a 10 on a trust, you got a 7 on intimacy, that intimacy can be improved. Because you didn't tell me what your attraction is. That would be my question. Like, how attracted are you to this woman? If I had to guess, it's probably not going to be a 10, or else you'd be head over heels, right? Intimacy can be improved. Connection can be maybe up a notch or 2. You even have it 6 or 7 here. I guess in writing this out, I'm wondering, what's my problem? She's a great girlfriend. Sounds like it on paper, right? It's kind of like if you've ever watched a basketball draft. There's some guy on paper that looks like he's going to be the next Michael Jordan. Too good to be true. That's why you're looking at this. There's something not right here. Their connection, our intimacy's off. Again, I wouldn't, if you trust her and she's sweet and she's kind, I wouldn't bail. I'd see if you can improve those other areas. I think it's the fact that I've never dated anyone like her, and at first I wasn't strongly attracted to her. Well, there you go. Plus her English isn't great. Well, that impedes on the connection. So sometimes when you're dating someone that speaks a different language, even if they speak your language and they don't have the same speed or vocabulary, it can come off as not a very good conversation. It's just different. And that will definitely impede on your connection. In the beginning, you might think it's cute. But over time, when you're trying to get your point across or communicate, it can get annoying. That being said, it could get better with time. I'm sure her English is going to improve by being with you if you're an English first speaker. The fact that I wasn't strongly attracted to her in the beginning, again, that can change over time. But if that continues, you got to ask yourself, how important is that to you? So that impedes our conversation, our understanding of things. And I don't know why, but I don't like going out with her in public. Well, that would tell me that your attraction isn't high to her. I think it's because she's into me and that I feel like it's too intense. I guess I would. Well, you said earlier that she's got sweet eyes all the time. So right there, you're telling me I don't like intense relationships in public. So that has something to do with you, not her. I guess I wish she had more of an opinion. So you've said that maybe 3 times now. Careful what you wish for. On the flip side, I've had a girlfriend whom was opinionated, strong-willed, and independent, essentially the opposite of this one, and eventually I didn't like this style. She was just too combative and aggressive. Now I've got an opposite. Well, there you go. And that's why it's conflicting with your beliefs, because you've had a girlfriend, you haven't said how long you had the aggressive, combative one for. Now you have an opposite, and your brain's going, is this right? So you probably that other one that was highly opinionated and independent had good conversation sometimes. And so right now you're saying, well, I wish I could just have that good conversation part back, minus the combative and aggressive behavior, which this woman doesn't have. But unfortunately, you can't have it all. But maybe you can. You know, some people might say, well, you got to have a trade-off, this, that, and the other. If you really want to bet on yourself and you're in an area where you have a lot of women to meet and you're in a good place in your life where you're attractive and you feel good about yourself, you can certainly say, well, this isn't enough. This isn't enough. I want someone that I communicate better with. It's a choice. This isn't one of those things where everyone from the outside in will go, why? Why are you backing off on this one? I think at the core of it, if you were a little bit more attracted to her, I think the connection wouldn't be as big. I think if your intimacy and your attraction were at 9, I think you'd go, oh, there's no problem with it. We don't have very good conversations, but now I've got an opposite. I should be ecstatic. No. You know your feelings, that's what they are. She's got so many positives. She treats me like a king. What the hell's my problem, coach? Well, your problem is your past girlfriend had one part of her that was better than this woman. And that was that you guys could have, quote unquote, your word, serious conversations. I would maybe say intellectual conversations would be a nicer way to put it. And she'd have an opinion, and you enjoyed that part of the relationship. And so now that's lacking in the new relationship, and you're going like, well, why can't she have this too? But she's got so many other things that are better than the past girlfriend that you're wondering like, why can't I get over this? Could she be too good to be true? It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like if you say she meditates, she's spiritual, it sounds like this is her nature. This is who she is. She doesn't have a high ambition. She likes to take care of her man, which maybe you haven't had that before, where a woman likes to do laundry and do the chores around the house, and you appreciate, you just haven't seen it before. There's women out there like that. There's women out there that'll have sweet eyes and stare you down with a glow of love, as you say, at dinner, and it might just be foreign to you right now. She's really grown on me, and now I'm wondering, will this get better and better, or am I settling for something that's got a lot of positives, but I don't know what's missing? I would certainly ride this out and continue to be with her, and I would continue to see where the relationship leads, and maybe make an effort to, if she's understanding and she's into you, maybe how are you going to get the intimacy up? So you're at a 7 right now. You got room to grow there. No pun intended. There's a lot of things you could probably come up with that are creative that might work, and she might be willing to try because she loves you so much. The connection, instead of settling for this idea of challenge her a little bit in conversation. See if that can work. And then if you feel the same way, you're 10 months in, this is still you learning each other. And if she's grown on you, that's nice. You haven't said anything negative about her. saying that she doesn't have enough serious conversations isn't that big of a negative, right? So don't be afraid to let this grow and then reassess things in 3 or 4 months and see if things have gotten better or you're more attracted to her. Because attraction is one of those things that can grow too. You know, you're allowed to tell your girlfriend, like, oh, you wear too much makeup, or like not in a negative way, but you look nice if you did this. If there's something that you've noticed and you want to make a comment about it, go ahead. But that would be my suggestion in your particular case, because if it was when someone says it's too good to be true, and let's just say someone on the flip side, I've seen it before where a woman got a guy that kept saying he was so rich, just bigging himself up all the time, bragging about things that were outlandish, and she believed him. Now that might be too good to be true. These are actually, it sounds like this woman is actionably good. In other words, the action she's doing, the way her behavior, her character is good. And it's portrayed that way. It's not something she's telling you a story about. You know what I'm saying? So it's too good to be true if she was saying, oh my God, in the future, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, and bigging things up and all that. It doesn't seem like that. It seems like you're in a pretty good place and you're just going, wow, could this be true? Because it's so great. Ride it out. All right, let me check in with the live stream here. So we got a serious conversation on Cyprus going. Okay, wow, sounds like you are having a beautiful time. Okay. All right. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain. It's coming down pretty hard over here. All right, folks, we got another story on deck here. Let me know if you have a question. If you're on the live stream and you have a question about your breakup, your relationship, go ahead and chime in. I will get to it. We got the usual suspects on here. Sabina, Jesse Chapman, Dark Knight. All right, let's get into the next story. Hello, Coach. I got a story to share. Love the live streams. Keep it going. You'll have 1 million subs one day. Well, thank you for the kind words, and I hope you are Nostradamus. I broke up with my girlfriend of 2 years 5 days ago. She hasn't called or texted me. Okay, the breakup was honest and clean. She told me that she couldn't continue in being in a relationship where she felt like I wasn't a part of her future. That really hurt. She's studying to be a doctor, and I work as a paramedic, but my goal is to be a fireman. I'm no loser. Well, you don't even need to state that. I mean, if you're a paramedic, you're already a hero. So she stated that her schooling is about to get more intense, and she's looking at residencies in other states, and she doesn't want to be in a relationship that could hurt her decision making about being a doctor. So basically, she's just telling you being a doctor and choosing a residency is more important than your relationship. Does that hurt? Probably. Hell yeah. Is that, like you said, clean in the sense that clean and honest? I believe so. And I've actually had other clients in the past that have dated doctors before, and they break up. They break up quite a bit. It seems that doctors usually put the profession first. And to me, if someone says they're a doctor, especially a medical doctor, there's something prestigious about that in most societies, and they're held at a pretty high level, and their identity of who they are is a high level, and so they kind of do what they want, and they'll break up if they don't feel like things are going their way. They tend to be a little bit more selfish, as if they're the prize. They're a doctor. Think about that. When you introduce yourself to people and you know you're able to say, "Oh, I'm a doctor," people are impressed. And there's a lot of weight that goes along with that. And so, I would venture to say, you being a paramedic in her eyes should be enough, but you almost feel like it's not enough by saying I'm no loser. And a fireman certainly is a prestigious job also. He writes in, her mother is a doctor and her father is too. Okay, there you go. She's been bred to do this. and the parents sort of look down on me. I can just feel it. They're always asking questions about how much firemen actually make. I explain it depends on the city you work in, and they just dissect my answers in this condescending way. Well, that could be your perception, but that's one of those things that parents are going to be parents. You're going to have to deal with parents in any relationship. I've certainly heard worse things. If both of them are doctors, she's going to be a doctor. They probably have a little error to them, right? I wouldn't know why they would be this way with the fact that you're a paramedic and a fireman. That seems like a pretty good job. But if you feel that way, just realize that if you were going to continue this relationship, which you aren't on her terms because she wants to break up, this problem wouldn't go away, and it certainly wouldn't help you feel better about yourself. I actually leave the dinners we have together feeling low, and now she's kind of taking on their views that I'm not good enough for her future. See, that's your narrative that you're spinning right now. I think that she's saying directly, I'm not sure where you say her age. Okay, the age is coming. She's only 25. What she's saying to you is being a doctor and her residency is more important to her, and she doesn't want to do long distance. She didn't say that, but she's looking at other states, and she doesn't want the relationship to get in the way of what she wants to make a choice. Now, that's just clear and cut. That's not personal. That's not her saying you're not enough. That's saying at this time of my life, I'm putting my career first. Now, if that was a man, a lot of times a lot of people say, oh, put your purpose first as a man. This doesn't feel good to you, but I understand where she's coming from. She's only 25, but still has years of school. I'm actually doing real work as a medic. I'm proud of it. Good for you. I commend you. I'd give you a pat on the back. Sincerely, kudos. Why can't she be giving me a pat on the back? Well, first of all, the fact that she's been with you for 2 years, that's good. 25 is a sweet spot for a lot of women that they break up. 25, 26, because they're still at their peak. A lot of popular culture of Western societies would say, I don't want to be with my first love. Now, some people will say, what do you mean? A lot of times there's curiosity out there that goes, is this the only guy I'll ever be with? Or I've only been with 2 or 3 guys? Or vice versa for guys that are 24, 25. It's very hard in your mid-20s to be like, this is it. I'll never date another person again. I'm getting married to this person. And so that age range right there is a very common age for someone to take a detour on relationships and see what it's like to be single. And I don't think that she doesn't think you're good enough. I think that she's pursuing a career that takes a lot of focus. It's a lot of prestige, and she's just putting it first. It's as if I'm some sort of loser because I'm not a doctor. Those are your words. I don't think she'd have been with you for 2 years if she thought you were a loser. I think that she is being influenced by her parents' views, most likely. But I think overall, this is who she's going to be. And you even said it was honest and clean. Now you're spinning this to being like she thinks I'm a loser, her parents think I'm a loser. If the parents didn't use the word loser, lose the word loser. This is how we get caught up in trying to create a situation that, this is how they feel about me. I would say to look at it like this. If you didn't break up now, you probably break up in a couple years because I don't know what she's studying as a doctor, but if she's going to be in a residency or if she's going to be in an ER, she's probably going to be very tied down by her job and her work, and it's going to affect your relationship. She said, you're 30 and you're still chasing being a fireman, but why haven't you done it? Fair question. I don't know if that's a cheap shot. That could motivate you or that could make you feel like a loser. That's a choice. That could be, you could use that as, you know what? I am going to be a fireman. I'm never going to hear that statement again. You could use that as motivation. You're certainly on track, because I know one of the prerequisites for a lot of areas that holds well is being a paramedic. I know it's not easy to become a fireman. It's a competitive job. A lot of people want that job. I mean, her asking you that could be a kick in the ass. You don't like it, but then you go, you know what, I'm going to do it. I wonder would that even be enough? Well, that's where you need to switch it's enough for you, right? You got a goal to be a fireman. You're currently proud to be a paramedic. You don't need her approval. And if that's not enough for her, c'est la vie. Good luck. I hope you're the greatest doctor on earth. I understand when we broke up, it was calm conversation and very reasonable. I actually wasn't shocked, but it just hurts. Of course it hurts. She broke up with you. It's rejection. And you're questioning who you are. You're questioning if you're enough because you thought it was pretty good. And you're thinking, I wouldn't have broke up with her. So of course it hurts. I'm basically getting told I'm not good enough. Those are your words. I didn't take it the way it's written. The way I look at it is she's saying, I want to put my career first and I don't want to worry about this relationship in lieu of it. You're saying I'm not good enough. That's creating a victim narrative. You can erase that. A part of me is angry and wants to just tell her off. Of course, you got rejected. You're hurt. That's natural. People want you to feel what they feel. You want her to feel what you feel. You want to send her an angry text? It's not going to make you feel good later on. That's why you're holding. I've had some texts written that I didn't send because they were just mean things to hurt her. Well, that's the good part of you. But that's natural. Journal it out. Book a live coaching session with myself. Talk about it. It's okay to be upset or angry. If you sent one of those texts, you'd have to deal with it later on. But I think one of the things that it sounds like in this particular case too, is that it doesn't sound like it's one of those things where you're going to get back together. I noticed 3 days after the breakup, she was out with friends having drinks. She doesn't even like to drink much. Well, even if it's the other person's choice to break up, 2, 3, 4, 5 days after they break up, they're struggling because it's a new cap to wear. It's a new uniform to wear. And they will do things out of character to make them feel better, like go have some drinks with friends. And the friends she was with, and also if the friends are single, they're excited. So you didn't say that part, but if the friends are single, they're like, oh, come out with me. We'll have drinks. Like, oh, great, we have another single friend in line. And the friends she was with, she always talks shit about. Well, that says something about her character. What's that all about? Like I said, again, that's something about her character, hanging out with people that she talks behind their backs. I know this breakup had to happen, as you say, but do you think I should wait a month and ask her out? No, not in this particular case. She's doing this for a very specific reason. The reason is attached to a goal that she's dialed in on that's more important than the relationship you're in right now. I know that deep down she misses me and that she thinks she's doing the right thing for her career. I think you're right. I think you know her better than I do. But I know she'll miss me. I think you're right. I was her first serious boyfriend. I know she still has feelings. Can this be repaired? Not anytime soon. Not by you asking her out in a month. You're going to have to ride out no contact. And you are you're going to have to deal with some hurt for a while. But I'll tell you this, it's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you're some sort of loser. Those are things you came up with, right? If the parents are both doctors, of course they think paramedic or a fireman's not up to par with who they are. Who fucking cares? I'm impressed that you're a paramedic. Sincerely. But this relationship, as you said, it was honest and clean. If she wants to come back, she'll come back. If she ends up getting residency somewhere close by and she changes her mind, she'll call you back. Right now, you think nothing's happening, nothing's working. If you can hold your dignity in and not call her and leave her alone, not send a mean text, she'll respect you. That's attractive. But there's still no guarantee that she doesn't take a residency out of state, and it's curtains anyways. If you're having trouble with this, like I said, book a live coaching session. Let's unpack it a little further. All right, folks, I'm going to check in on the live stream here real quick. Anything? Oh, we got travel plans here. Chuckster, what's going on? How are you? Timing and circumstances, Mac. Yes, sir. All right, I'm glad Dark Knight and Jesse got to meet up here. If anyone's on deck that has some specific questions about is my relationship too good to be true, let me know. I think a lot of times with the too good to be true is you got to just ask yourself, what am I comparing this to? Where is this coming from? And then I would add, sometimes something that you think is really good is just what society would think is really good. So you're looking at it, and even me when I was reading that first story, from the outside in, some guy might go, wow, attentive, caring, sweet, kind-hearted. Man, this is something all guys look for. Wow, she does your laundry, she cleans the house. Man, she's not opinionated. Sign me up. I can deal with that. You're looking at it like, it's too good to be true. It's too good to be true. These are all things other people would be in for. This is what my brother would die for. This is what my friends would die for. But really, is it what you're looking for? Is it what you're looking for? That's a good question, right? I think that we get caught up in what, it's the same thing when someone's with a woman that's very good looking, that's hot with two T's, right? And they're unhappy, but from the outside, right, from the surface, their ego's getting massaged every time they walk into a place and some guy stares at their wife or their girlfriend. They're like, yeah, that's mine. That's my girl. But in reality, when they go home, she's not spiritual. She doesn't meditate. She's not sweet and attentive. She's not kind and caring. And it sounds like that's the opposite of what you have right now. It sounds to me like what you have right now is you have all these things that are internal based, that when you say you go out to a restaurant and you're like, sometimes I just didn't want to go out in public because she's so into me. She's so intense. She's so sweet. She's so kind. I'm not used to it. And we can't have a good conversation. Are you worried about what the public thinks? Therefore, the fact that you're not extremely attracted to her, you're thinking the public's going to maybe look down on you? What are you comparing this to? The past girlfriend that you were with or past couple, were you proud to be around them? And this goes into something that's very important in a relationship. And I think it shines through. Are you proud to be with who you're with? That might be the question to ask. Are you proud to be with her? And what would make you prouder? The way, if she dressed more provocative or more beautiful, what would make you more proud? Because women and men, by the way, can smell when you're not proud to be with them. I remember years back, one of my past relationships that led to the only bad breakup I had, I would say, and like I always tell you, it was a bad breakup. And now it's a funny story to me, which eventually led to a lot of great things and probably led to me being a coach. But I remember one of the beginnings to the end, we were together 4.5, 5 years, something like that, was she had a company Christmas party. And she had only worked there for a few months, and she loved that job, and there was a lot of guys that she worked with. And she was like, oh, we don't need to go. We don't need, and I was thinking to myself, you don't want to go? You don't want to go to the Christmas party? This is a job you like. This is, you know a lot of people at work. No, we don't need to go. That was suspicious to me. And then we ended up going, and I just felt not 100%, but there was some reason you didn't want me to go. And it felt like you should want to bring your boyfriend or girlfriend to your Christmas party. Now, if you don't want to go to your Christmas party because you don't like your work or you don't like your colleagues, I get it. But it felt like You're not proud of me? First time I ever felt that way. Now, I was fine. I was centered. I went to that damn Christmas party and shook hands, broke bread, had some beers. I wasn't uncomfortable. I wasn't in the corner. I wasn't nervous or anything like that. It's one of those stories. I wasn't showing up, and she treated me well when we were there. But that was one of those ones that's like, why wouldn't you ask me to go to that? And I've had guys before, if your girlfriend or your boyfriend's proud to be with you, they should be inviting you out to do things. Not all the time, because that's too much, right? But if they have events to go to, they should be excited to invite you. And I know that there's that moment where maybe someone's holding off on introducing you to their family or their friends because that's when it kind of gets serious. For some people, it's a bigger deal than others. There's some people out there that can be with someone for 2 weeks and it's like, hey, mom, here's my new boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever. But once you get to the point where you're official, this idea that he had wrote that he's not really happy to take her out in public. Now that's interesting. Chuckster, thank you for $19.99. I really appreciate it. Here's your taste from my parlay winnings this weekend. Good for you, man. Congratulations. Is that from the NFL? Chuckster, did you say you're in Ohio? I'm just curious. What's good? We're going to have to get the video back on soon. Pennsylvania, PA. Okay. I spent some time in Coatesville, PA before. My aunt used to live there. Any folks have any closing questions? Anything new? Seems like we had a quiet crowd today. Quiet live stream with the people in the background. I'm glad you guys got to fraternize. Chuckster says, Mag, maybe she thought some hot girl would steal you, wanted to keep you hidden away. I would like to say that was true. But I later on realized what it was. I think she was hooking up with someone from work, but I never got evidence of it. I never chased it and I never looked for evidence of it. But I just remember it's not one of those things, that holds a charge for me now, that holds any anger. But when, obviously in being a breakup coach, this stuff gets bubbled up. But I do remember in that moment feeling like, what's this? Usually it's like, if we're going to go, like in the past, we're going to go to a Christmas party or someone's thing, we're going together. Yeah. Did you ever? I don't know why Pennsylvania people just say PA. Maybe because it's a long thing. I don't say CA for California. I say Cali sometimes. So I don't use CA. But PA for some, I think I say PA because my aunt lived in Pennsylvania for years and she called it PA. And I've had a few clients from there. And then, like I said, I've been there. I heard on the news Thailand is reopening. I don't know the situation right now. I don't follow it closely. I do know that where I live in Phuket, they have a way that you can come in here as a visitor that's You got to jump through some hoops, but you can come into Phuket. You got to get some tests and different things like that. And you have to be 2 weeks of quarantine, but you can get back in. Going back to this topic, just to close it out a bit. What I would say to someone is, if you're in a relationship that might be too good to be true. If you're in a relationship that might be too good to be true, write out a relationship. Write out what would be too good to be true. Write out what would be the most outstanding description of a partner you can, and see if that lines up with who you're with now. Write out the character. Write out the job that they would have. Write out what they would look like. Write out, detailed description of what your ideal future partner would be, and then line it up with the individual that you think is too good to be true. And then, like I said, ask yourself, why am I coming to this conclusion? Is it because I'm comparing to the past? And is there something in a past partner this partner doesn't have? And you're like trying to somehow mold together some perfect being that has bits and pieces from all your past partners. Chuckster wants the Jocko impersonation. Get over it. It's a breakup. I know it's hard. Move on. Move on. Get over it. The best way to deal with someone that wants to leave, in my opinion, is to smile and open the door for them. Yeah, it might hurt in the beginning, but ultimately you will be happier sooner than you think with someone hotter. It's harder to do in the moment. It's not as easy as it sounds, right? That's the ideal way to do it. Yeah, have your dignity. Have your dignity. It's just that breakups don't. In a space, that story I just told right now with the woman that's becoming a doctor. The one thing that you don't realize is that it's a very clean, reasonable reason, but you don't like it. But you twisting it into that you're not good enough when she said, I don't want to have to make decisions thinking about a relationship when I'm looking at my residency. What she's really saying is my career and my residency and my schooling with being a doctor is more important than this relationship. That's not saying you're not good enough. That's not saying that you're a loser. You came up with that. Right on, Chuckster. It's one of the things I can do. I've always been a good impersonator. So she's too good. Get over it. Move on. Start the next mission. Get over it. Move on. Start the next mission. Now, I think if you're in a relationship that's too good to be true, you should talk to me or talk to someone else, because you're going to sabotage a good thing. It's certainly not the time to abort. Now, there's been situations where people go, I knew it was too good to be true. Okay. Well, at least you rode it out to the end of the ride. In this particular case, this story that I just dropped today, I don't think it's that. And it certainly could be one of those things if it continues to be like there's something missing. Because what I don't say in the title is that he's saying that there's something missing. It's too good to be true, but there's something missing. Yeah. Yeah, it is. My past clients now come to me when they're in new relationships, and it's great because what you don't realize is that when you're in a relationship and you have some negative turbulence, would be a good word, and you're thinking about breaking up or it's entering your mind, it's good to talk to someone in that moment and figure out, am I right? Am I wrong? How do I feel about this? Why is this bubbling up? Because when you talk to them, it doesn't come out that way. Projection. I don't know if I think the guy's insecure about the too good to be true. I'm not sure if that applies. You know, the interesting thing about insecurity is individuals can always be insecure in individual moments. No one's bulletproof. The toughest of the tough, right? All right, folks, it's been a good hour. I'm happy you came on the train for a ride. Chuckster, thanks for the $19.99. Thanks for sharing in the spoils of this week. I'm glad you won your parlay. Rob IS, always a pleasure. Sabina, thanks for popping your head in the door and saying hello. And Jesse and Dark Knight, I hope you guys get a link up in Cyprus. Everyone else, it's curtains. Take it easy.